Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Week 13 pregame show. You're really up in my mug here. How are you? We got just an awesome week of college football. It's rivalry week for many. The entire FCS. This is their rivalry week. We got the Brawl of the Wild. We got the Capital City Classic. We got the Delaware and Villanova game. Harvard, Yale. Every Lafayette, Lehigh. Everything that makes the sport so fucking fantastic. And you got a couple rivalry games in the FBS too. Stanford, Cal, maybe the best play in the history of the sport. And just a lot of bangers there. And USC, UCLA. And then you mix that with a gigantic and awesome, relevant playoff race. Huge games scattered throughout the day. Indiana, Ohio State, Army, Notre Dame, some of the best stories in college football. You mix that with, can Ole Miss get there with a tough trip to Gainesville? Will Alabama trip up in Oklahoma? The Colorado Buffaloes, will their magical season continue? Can Arizona State be that team? Can BYU get back going? And can Boise State not trip in Laramie? There's just so many. Will Penn State perhaps hit rough season? Minneapolis. There are so many big time games this week, and I can't wait to watch it all and take it all in. Folks, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swing at Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
It's a beautiful day. And also, there's even college basketball scattered through. Big Marquette, Georgia game about the tip. You mix all of that, and you just have, how about this? D2, D3, NAIA playoffs. Just a fantastic day. Best time of year. Excited to talk about it all. I am joined by my co-host. He is also the host of the NBA Gambling Podcast and the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Give it up for the great Terrell Furman Jr. How you doing, buddy?
I'm a little hurt. Kobe. Can't lie. Cannot lie to you. I was watching the other day a war go on between VCU and Seton Hall.
That game.
And then they came back and lost again to Nevada.
I was on Nevada actually in that one. Me and Steve Alford had a retreat in Vegas. We buried the hatchet. We are moving forward on Nevada's team. I think is the best team it's been in a lot since that Sweet 16 run with Musselman when they knocked off. Who was
nonetheless
that?
This VCU team still plays defense, so everybody knows. Still plays defense. Very, very.
I
good.
still like VCU. I still think VCU will be strong in the.
Miami is fucked. Miami is fucked. They're going to lose.
NIL. They're just they're cashing these checks.
If you had to put a Kobe line on Miami versus VCU, what would you make it?
Well, what would I do, or what would Vegas do?
What do you think Vegas will do?
I think Miami would be like a 6.5 point favorite. I don't think they should be.
Man.
Yeah, I think they would do something like that because of all that NIL. Man, dude, today's slate of games absolutely fire. Let's just get right into it because these Indiana Hoosiers and Kurt Cignetti have been talking and walking the walk. They're catching, what's this current line right now? I think it's 12.
There's a lot of emotions here.
Is it 12? I'm double checking. 10.5 actually. 10.5. My bad. Indiana not used to being in a top 5 matchup.
Yeah.
with these Ohio State Buckeyes in Columbus, Ohio here. Look ahead spot for Ohio State with Michigan on deck. Oh, 100%. Kurt Cignetti talking that shit. I'm on the points. And the reason why I'm on the points is I think they've been disrespected by the media. I think they have a old team. They brought in a bunch of veterans. And I also think part of it is Ohio State is not the type of team to really blow you out anymore. I feel like they're more of, you know how Michigan last season went undefeated, but they were like ECU was covering and Bowling Green was covering. I feel like Ohio State is closer to that Michigan than they are closer to those Ohio State teams with Urban Meyer. So I will take the 10.5 and I mean, I don't think Indiana wins it, but wouldn't it be the best story? It would be the best story. But Indiana and Army have the power to really make this college football season incredible if they can win today. What are you doing here?
Man, if Ohio State blows them out, this is going to be like the most annoying play. But I have serious concerns about Will Howard at quarterback, and I just think he's going to give Indiana chances. And I think the Indiana defense is actually pretty solid. Maybe if it was somebody I felt better at quarterback, I'm saying, okay, like in the emotions of this game, you're able to pull away. But I don't know. I think Indiana, and I think Cignetti's going to do everything to keep them in the game. So are we going to see a fake punt? Maybe. Are we going to see a triple backwards pass? Possibly. Are we going to see, a fake field goal, take it in for a touchdown? More than likely. Like, we're going to see him pull out all of the stops. He knows the spread. Like, I think if anything, Cignetti knows the spread. And if he has O'Rourke driving down the field, down 14, he's 100% putting a touchdown on the board before the game's out of here. So I think that Indiana is a good play as well. I am concerned about the money line win. I actually have a stat on this that says Indiana is not going to win on the money line. My homeboy ChatGPT'd something and he sent it to me, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know ChatGPT could do all of that. But okay, so he was like, between two top 10 matchups and a team, the first team. Let me see, where'd it go? That's the Bear. There we go. No, that's Baylor. I don't know. I can't find it. Whatever. Either way, they're like 0-15 between top 10 matchups, and one team is laying double digits straight up. They're like 0-15. They don't win outright. They sometimes cover, but it's not a really good, strong on the play outright. So for those saying Ohio State and those that are crazy and they do those -1,000 money line parlays and whatever, Ohio State seems like they're going to be able to go ahead and get the win here, but I think that Cignetti knows the spread. I think if they're driving down double digits, he's going to put something on the board just to cover the spread.
Yeah, and I was about to say, like, I don't know that all those stats, even though I'm sure you have some great stats, not you personally, but anybody, on Ohio State's dominance in this rivalry. But I can also tell you this: Indiana's never been undefeated on November 23rd. So, yeah, I mean,
two top 5 ranked teams listed, and one is listed as a double-digit underdog against the spread, have struggled 0-14 straight up over the past decade and 5-9 ATS against the spread. So, if you need a trend, you need a historical data. That is your historical data. Top 5 teams, or one is a double-digit favorite, have done really good ATS and straight up. So there you go.
Shout out to Colts giving us $10. He says checking in the middle of 300 concrete pour, 300-yard concrete pour. Hopefully
Jesus
this
Christ.
Indiana Army Vandy moneyline parlay hits, so I never have to do this shit again.
Jesus Christ, Indiana Army Vandy.
I mean,
forget the trend.
I know.
Let's go Indiana.
I feel like we just found our parlay to join him. All right. I hope I can join him just so I could buy a fucking house and just have someone do that 300-yard concrete pour for my house. Yeah. I mean, look, this game is very compelling to me because if Indiana just keeps it close, I think they're in the playoffs. In reality, to me, like you go 11-1, you should be in a 12-team fucking playoff. I don't care what conference you're in. You should be in. Going on at that same time, I got a play I like, and it's at that filthy Carrier Dome. I think UConn is going to stay within the number against Syracuse. UConn is sitting there quietly, 7-3. Syracuse on the verge of having the top 10 Miami Hurricanes come to town. It's a sleepy game when you get all independent UConn.
You're right.
And to me, they're both right up there. Jim Mora and UConn are just playing better than I think a lot of people think. Well, wrong button. There we go. Give me these pesky UConn Huskies. Plus the points. Shit, sprinkle the money line. Plus 300. You sound like you're on board with that.
Yeah, I do like a good look ahead spot. Fran Brown got washed last week as well, so the players aren't trying to play to get him a shower so he can sleep in a bed. He's been to bed with his wife all week this week, so he's been good to go. This definitely seems like a little bit, and then think about the last game. Like they went cross country, Cal, put it on them, pause, and then came, and now they're back home at UConn, playing UConn, like little FBS independent. Yeah, and UConn's been feisty. Like they've been hanging around a lot of games. So yeah, I like a UConn play. I wouldn't even mind a UConn first half play and just say that they come in there and really, really put the pressure on Syracuse early.
Yeah, that might even be better as the first half. The chat is in there rocking, asking about several games right now. SMU is knocking on the door of the 12-team playoff.
Mm-hmm.
They have never, ever played the Virginia Cavaliers. What could go wrong? What could go wrong here? As Tony Elliott and Virginia are playing for their first ever bowl trip, they're catching 11 points at Scott Stadium there. What are you doing here?
So, gosh, Virginia is not really that good, man. I would love to back a team trying to get to a bowl game angle. But I just don't see how they do it. How do you have the confidence that you're going to beat Virginia Tech next week because you never beat them?
That's true, but I will say this. I don't know that SMU's been in a spot where they had this much pressure on them. So
them not covering the number versus
BC. I was on BC. That was a 3-point game with 5 minutes left, man.
Yeah, that was concerning.
That's why I think we take the Wahoos. I don't think they're live to win it. Maybe though. I mean, I just feel like
a game and it's like a heartbreaker loss right before the Virginia Tech game, and they try to use that in momentum. I could see that. I'm not betting this, but yeah, give me the Wahoos plus 11.5. But
yeah, I am betting this. I was laying 4 against Maryland. Iowa never loses to Maryland. I will lock up Iowa against these Terps. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why everybody is over here on Loxley.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe because they're at home.
No one's going to be at this game.
Spot.
No one's going to be at this game.
Yeah, give me Iowa.
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm concerned about the line. I feel like it should be closer to a touchdown.
There's another one I like. North Carolina Tar Heels are heading up to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. Well, let me just add this up. Mac Brown says he's going to be back next year. So they're not playing. He did. I mean, they haven't. The school hasn't announced it yet, but he said he's going to be back next year. They've already clinched a bowl. If he's coming back next year, they're not playing for him. And meanwhile, Boston College is playing to make a bowl. Oh,
this is BC all the way.
And it's cold as fuck up there right now.
BC
Lock plus 125 on the money line. BC.
Yeah, I'm with you. Lock it up. They're trying to get to a bowl.
I have a play I like. I think DJ Lagway in Florida are live against Ole Miss. I think Florida has been playing good ball whenever, like, okay, they got destroyed at Texas, but the third string freshman kid, who's really the fourth string quarterback, started. That was obvious. Some of those early season games with Graham Mertz, obvious. But DJ Lagway, there's a reason why the guy was a big time fucking recruit. When he was in the game, healthy, they were better than Tennessee. Now he got injured. Backup came in. Tennessee wins in overtime. They played Georgia close. They beat LSU a week ago. I think Florida at the Swamp with DJ Lagway is 100% live pending he stay healthy all game. Give me the 13, is it right now? I think it's 13. Sprinkle a little bit on that money line.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me. As long as Lagway plays, I like Florida. I think that they'll be able to keep it close. I'm not, man. I mean, if you can dominate the line of scrimmage, if you can contain Jackson Dart, like, it's not as impressive as years past. Overall, I think the offense kind of is okay at times, but it's just a lot of moments where I watch this Ole Miss team and I'm like, man, is this 100% a playoff team? Like, I don't know. I mean, you're getting a win here or there. You look good here or there, but I think Florida is way better than their record.
I do too. Even Brian Sanders, a dog fan, is.
I would love to see what Florida would look like if DJ Lagway was playing the entire season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Florida, lock it up.
Let's go. Let's go. Double lock on these Gators. I'm going to give my clientele a total.
What?
Wake Forest is going to be able to move the ball on Miami. I actually think Wake Forest plus 24 or 23.5 is the right side. But I also think Miami's going to score about 52 points this game. So I will take the over 66.5 in Wake Forest, Miami. All right.
What?
The over.
Whoa, a total.
If Miami's getting to like here, Miami's going to score at least in the 40s. Mm-hmm. I think the early 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mix in what Miami's defense is fucking horrible. I think it's the worst defense in the top in like the projected CFP. Mm-hmm. I think Dave Clawson can move the ball on this Miami defense, and I think they'll score enough to hit this over. I actually think they'll score enough to actually cover the game too. I mean, you can bet this in several ways. Your thoughts?
I could see it going like that Duke game, a bunch of points.
Yeah,
on both sides. We think that Wake is live in the game at some point. Miami kind of pulls away. Miami ended up covering that game, but if they got this number, they wouldn't have covered. So yeah,
amen.
I'm with you. I like Wake plus the points, and I like that overplay. Shout out to Kobe throwing out a total out there.
I just see Cam Ward as someone dropping 52 on them, 52 points, and then like you're asking yourself, wait, can Dave Clawson and Wake Forest score more than 15 points? I think certainly. I wouldn't even be
like to throw out there.
What's that?
That this week was a week of remembrance. This was a week of joy for a lot of us because the New York Giants released Daniel Jones. And I think that Cam Ward saw that news and was like, all right, let me get on a radar right now. Big Cam Ward game, everybody. Big Cam Ward game.
I'm with you. I mean, I think Cam Ward's a baller, and I questioned Daniel Jones when he was drafted in the first round. I thought he could make the NFL, but I was a bit shocked when he went that early. I was like, whoa. Okay.
Kobe, what time did y'all finish college basketball last night?
Just like 15 minutes ago, I feel like. This East Coast time zone is fucking horrible.
This is props to Kobe for being up only after ending a show 7 hours ago.
Yeah. I mean, this East Coast time zone thing. I'm at war with the East Coast time zone. I see the chat talking. I will key in on this one. The FCS playoffs, like it's just a gigantic week. FCS playoffs are looming as well as the 12-team playoff. It's the final week of the FCS season. CJ Sullivan's alma mater, the Duquesne Dukes, are in a win in advance to the FCS playoff situation here as they are taking on the Blue Devils. Some say the real Blue Devils of Central Connecticut State. I do think Duquesne is going to get this. Central Connecticut State, by the way, magical. Just the way they were here on a deflected pass and a 2-point conversion. Pretty magical. I think it all stops here, though. I think the Dukes advance. I don't know if you have a play on this one, but it's a gigantic game in the NEC.
My play is Kobe's plays in FCS.
There we go.
Those are my plays.
There we go.
And fading A&C any chance you get. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this is our last game of the season. Oh, fade them 100%.
Yes. And I should mention there's also the Capital Classic going on. William and Mary Richmond with major implications there. Who do you side with this one here? Do you take William and Mary with the 5.5 on the road at Richmond, or do you go with the Spiders who have been pretty fire all year?
They have been really, really good. But I think that William and Mary, like, they always get up in Richmond. So this series and how this kind of plays out, the road team is typically the team, and the dog is typically the team who gets up for the game. Like, people know when they're an underdog and when they're not. And going on the road, typical spots, like look at the last few years. Last year, Richmond caught William Mary at home 27-26 as a 3.5-point dog. Year before that, William and Mary caught Richmond in Richmond 37-26 as a 1.5-point dog. Year before that, 2017, Richmond in William and Mary as a 2.5-point dog. Year before that, William and Mary 21-15 in Richmond as a 3.5-point dog. The dog always kind of gets them. They always understand that their back is against the wall, playing in the road spot between these two teams. I'm going to just continue to do what I always do and just take the road team.
Yeah, no, I like it. In a rivalry game that makes a lot of sense. Let's load up on these.
And this can easily be a 3-point game too.
Yeah. I mean, who the fuck is, especially knowing the stakes. William and Mary playing for their postseason lives. Richmond is pretty much in. Now, Richmond could still lose out on the auto bid, but it just makes for a very fun,
Kobe,
FCS
if I get
Saturday.
on the road right now, I could get there before halftime.
Oh, you should get over there. I mean, what are you doing? Let's go. Robin Stadium there. NC Nick. I think you went last year. Damn it. Hang on one second. I just want to be able to try to wager on a line movement that I just saw in this game. Let me see.
I can't even get the game in Virginia. Can't even bet the game. That's crazy. I know, man. That's why I'm not going to lock it up. But typically, the dog kind of wins the matchups between those two teams.
Yeah. I think it's a good spot for them. Let's talk about this App State JMU game. JMU heading into the likes of Boone Stadium, Kid Brewer Stadium. I mean, how great is this game? Knowing that JMU in contention for the Sun Belt Championship. App State ruined their perfect season a year ago in football and basketball.
They're gonna beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, App State's getting 7.5. Gimme those Mountaineers.
Beat the shit out of them. I don't think App State's that good this year either. Honestly, like I keep trying to give App State chances, and they keep flopping those chances, and I just have to realize like they're not that fucking good, even though they are playing for a bowl still. So there is a lot of motivation, but I just think JMU is just a powerhouse. Like I don't. Maybe they're in this game for the first half, but I think JMU is going to be able to pull away.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I don't know. I think 7.5 is too many points. It's too many points. So jump on that action there. And I just bet Duquesne, by the way. You can get over there. Bet these Duquesne Dukes. Shout out to Sarkis. Favorite FCS play. See, a lot of people are asking my favorite FCS plays.
Yeah, they
here.
want the FCS stuff. What y'all doing?
It's because it's heated rivalry games like Harvard, man. Yale, the Brawl of the Wild.
That's a huge FCS, really good FCS slate.
Gigantic games left and right on the FCS front. My favorite plays, quickly to run down some. But I'll have you know, Terrell, that we will be talking the great matchup between Notre Dame and Army in a second here, and I'm very curious where it is you're going.
Way to tee me up in the rundown.
Yes, let's go. I will say this. I like East Tennessee State to destroy VMI with the hopes that they're going to get into to the FCS playoffs. They're not going to, but it's a good spot for these Buccaneers. I also think Georgetown will keep it within 13.5 with Holy Cross. But my favorite, probably one of my favorites, I think Delaware is going to get Nova here, and Nova's had their number lately. Delaware's leaving for the FBS. It's a rivalry game. I think Delaware is going to get Villanova and perhaps knock them out of the playoffs here. So those are some of the plays I like.
Well, hold on now. Let me put the FCS hat on.
Yes.
And I got a couple of FCS plays that I'm going to give out here. First of all, Elon going on the road, North Carolina A&T. System play.
Oh, yeah. What's that line? What's that line?
17.5. System play. System play. 0-3 ATS at home.
I think we should wager on that right now.
System Elon 4-1 on the road. System play. They cover 14.5 against A&T. A&T is dog shit horrible. All right, let's go over who else is also dog shit horrible. Delaware State Central on the road, laying a huge number, gets it done. It doesn't matter. Central covers the number on the road here.
What is that number?
23.5.
Yeah, Central's kind of playing for their postseason lives too. There's still a path for them. I kind of like that spot. I kind of like that spot.
And then one more for your fancy. I know we talked about dogs winning in the game up in Virginia. Well, I'm gonna take another Virginia school. Norfolk State is catching 16 on the road against South Carolina State. Look, I understand how good South Carolina State is right now. I understand they're going back and forth with Central, and we're gonna see who's gonna be top of the MEAC. Norfolk State doesn't go away. They don't care if they go into South Carolina or not. In fact, last time Norfolk State was in South Carolina, they won as 15-point dogs outright.
Whew.
Oh, give me the Norfolk State Spartans. Let's go Sparty. Plus 16.
Wow. I like this. I like this. And a couple more FCS plays that have caught my eye. I forgot that last night I did bet North Dakota State minus the points on the road at South Dakota. I think they're trying to lock up the first overall seed. And one that I love is Northern Iowa's legendary head coach Mark Farley retiring. They're laying 8.5 at home against Indiana State. He's been there for like 30 years. This is a send-off game. Lay the 8.5. Let's go. Northern Iowa minus the points. That's actually probably my favorite play on the whole damn board for the FCS. Let's go. Load up on those, and I'll see you in victory lane there. All right. Now back to the FBS, because I do want to ask you your thoughts on Army, Notre Dame. Is it just they're disrespecting Notre Dame. They beat up these service academies often.
Yeah.
It's a Yankee stadium. It's going to be a little chilly. But
it's freezing. It's freezing here. I know it's cold there.
Yeah. And that line, has it moved from last night? Let me see. 14, flat 14 I'm seeing right now. I'm curious what you're doing here because I am loading up on the Army Black Knights. I'm not really loading up. I did a small wager on the Army Black Knights. When I mean small, $50. I put 50 American on these Army Black Knights to stay within 14. Army does have the Army's got the best passing attack they've had in like fucking 30 years, Clark. It's been so long since they had a quarterback. You got to go back to like back when like World War II was happening. I feel like, or the 50s.
I don't even want them to pass the ball. Don't put the ball in the air.
Keep it on the ground. And Tyrell Robinson. Ballers.
Keep it on the ground. Yeah. Bryson Daly's been really good this year, man. Like I think that's the X factor for me. And I hate to put it all on a quarterback, but if Bryson Daly can move the football and just keep the offense churning, killing clock, going first down. I don't need the big 30-yard play. I don't need the big 40-yard play, whatever it is. Just keep the chains moving and put yourself in a position to get points after the drive. I think this Notre Dame defense can fold to that, but I think the offense can kind of get a little wishy-washy at times. And this Army defense has been playing pretty solid. I know that it's a big jump up in talent from playing North Texas to playing Notre Dame, but North Texas throws the ball a lot, and Army was able to cover. And so if they can cover your receivers and they can force you to give up the football and not get any points, they can definitely hold clock for the whole quarter, put up 3 or 7 points and move on. So yeah, I don't think it's a lot of possessions for Notre Dame to be able to pull away with this. It's going to really come down to, can Notre Dame get the big plays, get the big shots, be able to put points up on the board fast and mitigate whatever long possessions that Army is able to draw out. So give me Army, get it done. Plus 14.5. I would love for Notre Dame to lose this game. I would absolutely love it.
It would be so great for the sport. It'd be so great for the sport.
They got to put Army in.
Yes, it would put so much pressure on the committee. Have I seen the Army Navy uniforms for this year's game? Go Navy, beat Army. I have. Navy's ones are fucking fire. I plan to be at that game if all goes well. So let me know if you're going.
Kobe's going to look red when he leaves the stadium. It's going to be freezing.
Yeah, that's the way a football game should be. You know what I mean? You should be out in the cold, frostbite on your fingers. You know, not this Mercedes-Benz bullshit. You know what I mean?
Hey. That is a great stadium, sir.
Trying to sprinkle on us.
I've seen multiple celebration bowls in the stadium on the 50-yard line. It's amazing.
That's only because the bands are fire. All right.
Well, ours is. Theirs is cool. They are
all right. What are we at here? Let's go. Sam Houston State, Jacksonville State. Huge game in the CUSA. Rich Rod and Jacksonville State laying 5.
Nah, man. Give me Sam Houston plus the points.
This is an interesting game.
This is a 3-point game either way. Both of these two teams feel like they're in it. I do really, really like Rich Rod, but I don't know. Sam Houston State, after spurring in the beginning of the season, once they settled down at quarterback, they have really, really started to put it together. Is the offense amazing? No, absolutely not. God awful, horrible, actually, if we want to be honest. But that defense, I mean, I know that we don't talk a lot of shit about Kennesaw State, Louisiana Tech, and FIU. In fact, we think they're some of the worst teams. 7-3 and 17, really, really solid as of late. This is now after 4 straight games of everybody putting a lot of pressure on Sam Houston State to cover these numbers and not being able to do it. They are now going to get a chance as a dog to win outright. And I think that's going to be the thing that pisses everybody off. Give me Sam Houston State. They get it done. This
game's fascinating because they're just completely different contrasting styles. Like Jacksonville State gives up points. You know, they have an explosive offense. Sam Houston does not have an explosive offense, but their defense is fucking incredible. It's a very interesting game. I teetered with Jacksonville State, but I didn't place a wager on this. So just a fascinating game because the CUSA championship is on the line here.
Shout out to the nice collaboration. I love when I look in the chat and I see NBA Gambling Podcast listeners collaborating with the college experience. Shout out to Kaysen. Talking about does Diego Pavia piss all over Brian Kelly's family today? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Brian Kelly
does.
Doing not like, to me, like, you ever think about the way you're perceived?
Yeah.
Like, can we be honest? Brian Kelly seems like the biggest dickhead. Like, I would love to know, like, how, like, his wife just sit there and say, yeah, that's my guy. It's like, you're screaming, you're throwing the defense coordinator on the bus, you're yelling at these fucking kids. You piece of shit. You're nothing.
Yo, and it's literally, this is how it happens all the time. Like, every single time, once they're out of it for the season, they just roll over and give the fuck up. Like, this is multiple times we've seen this. I think we saw it last year too. I'm trying to remember which game it was, but they just roll over. They just roll the fuck over and be like, all right, we was close. We had it. We thought we was there. We're not there. We'll figure it out next season. And they just roll the fuck over. Like, they are rolling over. They're done.
Yeah. I just feel like, if you're LSU, the way it's gone recently, you know, he buried the DC. He's yelling at the position coaches. He's yelling at a multiple. I mean, there was a moment where he was yelling at like the D tackle, and he's yelling at so much. I'm like, dude, you're lucky we have laws. This dude will fuck you up for you. Like, if you're like, you can't yell at a human being that much like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but
I don't know how people could see guys like Lance Leopold. And I know he just signed the extension with Kansas, but I can't see how people see guys like that coaching in college football and like, we're gonna stick with this guy, Brian Kelly. Like, Lance Leopold is literally coaching his team with only one thing: winning in. We win and we're in, and they continue to win. Little tease for the end.
You wonder how long he'll stay there at Kansas, but. And here's another thing. So LSU's they're already bowl eligible. I don't even understand what they can do in this spot. You can't make the playoffs. Your players, your players that are going pro are probably already going pro, saying, well, let's get out of here and not get injured. And then you have the other side of this is Diego Pavia this is one of his last college football games, perhaps pending an NCAA ruling. And I do think Vanderbilt's trying to prove something every time they get out there. Didn't Colby
truly think they can win every single game, which I give them amazing kudos. But like the confidence that you can have to go in every single game against whoever and really, really think you win. Like, there's people, and you hear it on podcasts, they're like, yeah, I knew we weren't gonna win that one. We was gonna play hard, but we weren't gonna win. They truly believe they can win every single game, and that's dangerous.
Yeah, and I just think they're more motivated here. Abner, didn't I give out Jacksonville? Yeah, but I teetered towards Jacksonville State. I didn't bet that fucking game. All right, because Jacksonville State's been a complete mess, but Sam Houston State's offense is terrible. So I kind of think it's going to be a close game to the fourth quarter, and then one of Rich Rod's plays will break open, and Jacksonville State will win by 7 points. That's what I'm saying. But is my hard-earned money on Jacksonville State? No, it is not. Or Sam Houston State. So Mike says, what about Bama today? They head to Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. I'm all over Oklahoma plus the points here. A lot of people are saying you got to load up on Bama and Jalen Milroe. I know this, man. There's a human side of this. And I know this: Alabama's got a ton of national championships. Guess what matters more than national championships in Alabama? The fucking Iron Bowl. Kalen DeBoer has never coached in the Iron Bowl. But trust me, when you're in Alabama and you go get a coffee in the morning, when you go to the store with your wife, they care about that shit. And whether you like it or not, you're going to be hearing that.
Shit means something to me.
Yes. And well, it's just going to be around you nonstop. So it's almost like Elko's comments regarding the Auburn game with where he goes, "I'm not focusing on Texas. I'm focusing on Texas." He made a mistake. He's trying to say Auburn because the reality is he is focusing on Texas because it matters that much. It's around that whole damn town. So I know Oklahoma, I'm sorry, has been asked this year. I think they're in a good spot to cover this because they're playing for a bowl game. I also think Brent Venables it could get fired if, so he's coaching for his job essentially. And I also think Alabama, I still have my questions with Alabama's defense. Just because you put it on LSU, I want to see it more because Oklahoma's offense is terrible, but I do think they're starting the better quarterback now.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be able to get them some points, but definitely cover, 13 and a half, 14 points. What are you doing in this? Yeah. What are you doing?
When Lincoln Riley gets fired, I think that Venables should hire him on as his OC. I think that would be a great play.
That would a great PR move too.
Yeah.
Are you taking Oklahoma?
I really want to say this is the Alabama fuck everybody tour. I really, really want to say this is that. I understand everything you're saying, Kobe. I really do. I am split on this one, but I teeter, and I think I like Alabama just because it feels like that they have figured it out with Jalen Milroe, and he knows exactly how he wants to play him. And Jalen Milroe also has something to play for. He wants to be a top 10 pick. He doesn't want to go in the back half of the first round or even fall out. Like, he wants to continue to make sure that he's one of the best. And you got to take the advantages that people are going to give you. And this Oklahoma offense is going to give you the football multiple times.
Like, they do suck.
Free opportunity, and you have to take advantage. That's the only concern I have for Oklahoma, not the defense, because I think the defense is actually pretty solid. But the fact that the offense is going to give Jalen Milroe opportunity at probably the 50-yard line or better multiple times in this game, and he's got to capitalize there. So Oklahoma can still make a bowl because guess what? They have LSU on deck.
That's true.
Last game of the season against LSU, there's no fucking way. No fucking way.
If LSU loses to Vandy, they might be facing LSU without Brian Kelly. Possible.
I can tell you right now, I'm maybe this as a better, and maybe this isn't a good thing. Maybe you do need to take Oklahoma because I'm clearly looking ahead because Oklahoma next week against LSU is free money. Whatever the number is, it's free money.
I got a couple plays I like. I like West Virginia getting 3 points. It's cold as fuck. It snowed last night. Mm-hmm. It's not snowing during the game here, but it snowed last night apparently. 16-mile-an-hour winds. It's raining and misting in 35 degrees in Morgantown, and UCF has got to go up there. West Virginia wins. They go 6, and they're playing for a bowl, by the way. West Virginia is. So that'll put them at 6-6, which are 6-5, and they'll lose next week at Texas Tech. They'll go 6-6, which Neil Brown's whole existence is 6-6. So it put the pressure on the school to fire him because you're like, well, we made a bowl, but we could. We're close. We're close. So yeah, give me that. Are you with me on the Mountaineers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Morgantown, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Morgantown, Morgantown, WV.
It seems like they're back after quitting early in the season, and they've kind of figured things out. They're willing to play the season out now. And yeah, still trying to make a bowl. So I like it. I'm not completely giving up. But another play I like to just throw a play out there. Somebody had something to say about my chair force when we were talking about the Army-Navy game. And I would just like to say they have been good. They have been rolling as of late. They look a lot better. And they're going on the road to play Nevada. Kobe. They're catching 3 on the road here. Nevada's been teetering. Give me Air Force. +3. Sprinkle on the money line. Air Force is getting this done. I know I don't like those Service Academy nerds, and if you need a late chase play, this is a very, very late one on the slate. And I'll tell you, in the Air Force, Academy nerds cannot take, they will tell you 100% in the first 5 minutes that they're from the Academy. It's very annoying. But when you bet on them, you're going to love it. Give it to me. They got 28-0 against Oregon State last week as 3-point dog. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We've been backing them the past 2 weeks against Oregon State, against Fresno. This is it. We do it again. They knock off Nevada. Let's go, Air Force.
Now we got a problem. Now we got a problem.
We got a battle in Reno.
He's taking Nevada.
The Wolfpack and Jeff Choate are playing for something. Look, I was with you, Air Force double-digit dog against Fresno State. You know I love Troy Calhoun. All right, I've hung out with the guy for the past 2 years. He's deceived me in the first year. Last season we had a laugh about it, or in July we had a laugh about it. And then I said, I'm not trusting any more stuff out of your mouth, coach. But he is a damn good football coach, and I do think that team is improving with every good week. But I just think Nevada, the culture there, the play, and then the fact you got to go up there to Reno. Now altitude shouldn't bother them because Colorado State, Air Force is in Colorado Springs. Can't fucking talk. I just think Nevada is still playing for something here. I think Choate was a really good hire. I just saw them invest $60 million into their football program too. So I'm buying the positive energy in Reno. Kind of fascinated by the game though. Penn State is heading to Minneapolis, where James Franklin has lost his last 2 games in Minneapolis. In fact, PJ Fleck is undefeated against James Franklin in Minneapolis. So you know what I'm doing here. Give me the 11 points and the Gophers. Sprinkle a little bit of that money line. Terrell?
That was funny, Clark. They do brag like that. No. Yeah, I'm taking PJ Fleck. I think this is one. I just am so out on Penn State and Alar. I don't want to lay this big number against a team that I think is really, really competitive. And Minnesota, they've been really, really good at home this season. 4-1-1 at home. They've been able to get it done. They've been competitive in these games. I think Penn State coming to town, this is a big opportunity for them to kind of get some get back. And the last time Penn State went into Minnesota, they walked out with an L.
Last 2 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
yeah.
I think this is a really good spot for Fleck just to put another really good win on the resume. Like, you got to keep this one close, and you got to you can beat all of the mid-tier to low-tier teams in the Big Ten, but you got to get a big win at some point. And in the Big Ten, that is 100% possible. They play the style of defense for. I think that he has the quarterback that he likes and that can move the football that he's comfortable with in Brosmer.
Yeah. Brosmer. Yeah.
Brosmer. Yeah. I like PJ Fleck to get this one done.
Stanford Cal. Stanford's catching 14.5. What is this line? So you have a heated rivalry. 14.5 points. Give me the Stanford Cardinal to stay within this number. What the hell is this line? Doesn't make any sense. Your thoughts?
I mean, I guess it's maybe. I mean, how bad is Stanford really?
They just won against Louisville last week.
I know, but is that win what we're shooting over? But I mean, 24-7 against Wake, they get destroyed. I remember I was on them in the points against NC State because I thought the Pussy Pack should never be laying 10 points, and they got destroyed. And that's really the thing that I just can't. I can't forget that, Kobe. I watched them get destroyed. I watched them get destroyed by NC State. I understand they beat Louisville last week, but I watched them get destroyed by NC State.
I want to see here. how many times a game has resulted. This is the big game they call it. Obviously, one of the most legendary plays in my opinion, football history. You'd have to go. Well, I guess
only one time in the last 5 games was this an ugly game in 2021, 41-11 Cal at Stanford. But other than that, for at least from what I see right now, it's a one possession, 12 points is the biggest lead outside of that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a lot of points for a rivalry game. I will take the Stanford Cardinal, but
I'm not gonna lock it up, but I'll take them.
Kind of perplexed at the line though. I have one I like. I like Coastal Carolina to take care of Georgia Southern. Coastal Carolina playing for a pivotal spot potentially. Pending all the other action. But I'm saying Georgia Southern, if they lose, they can get kicked out of potentially playing for the Sun Belt Championship. Coastal Carolina is still somewhat alive. It's in Conway, South Carolina, so I will take Coastal Carolina -2.5 there. We're not talking about some of the bigger games here. Colorado and Kansas in Arrowhead Stadium.
Go ahead, play the music.
I'm just going to
play the right one. I hope you play the right one.
I'm just going to
play the right one. Don't miss it. Don't miss it, Kobe.
Look out.
Oh, boo.
Let's go.
Boo. Play the other music.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You're
I don't know how you're fading Leopold. You're so. How are you fading Leopold here, man? We know what he told them. We have to win out to get a bowl, and they're doing it. We literally are watching them do it, and they knocked off 3 top 25 teams in a row.
I have the script. All right. Tebow came down and talked to me. Right. And let me tell you, I have the script of life. This is what's going to happen. Kansas will be up early. Kansas will be up, but it won't be by too much. It'll be 10 points, 7 points, 6 points. It's going to come down to the final drive. Colorado will make a stop. And then Shedeur Sanders will drive down the field and find Travis Hunter in the end zone for a game-winning touchdown. He will do the Heisman pose. He will lock up the Heisman Trophy. And Colorado will win something like 35-31. And the bus will survive Arrowhead Stadium. I actually think the bus might have a bigger crowd than people realize because this is not on campus. This is an hour away or whatever. I think the Buffs can stay in the mix here. But is it a scary game? 1,000%. As a Buffs fan, I circled this one weeks ago and I was just like, fuck.
How did they lose that game against Kansas State?
Travis Hunter got injured. That's what happened.
That was also true.
Yeah, and Jimmy Horn. Yeah.
They couldn't stop the fucking run. DJ Giddens was running all over them. They couldn't stop the fucking run. Devin Neal has a great day.
I agree. He's
I don't know
DFS
what
lineup.
NC Nick is doing, but I think Devin Neal ladders should be in consideration for today. If you can run the ball on this Colorado team, you can beat this Colorado team. And Kansas has a prominent rushing attack with Daniels, with Neal, with Leopold at the helm. They play good defense. They have all the motivation. I love your angle. The only issue with your angle is the fact that when they get to the end of the game, they're just going to keep running, get first downs, and then kneel the clock out. And then you're not going to give Shedeur a chance to be the Heisman. Oh, no. Give me Lance Leopold and this Kansas This is our Kansas Jayhawks, Kobe. I understand that you're a little torn because those are your Colorado Buffaloes and they've been for a while. But the Kansas Jayhawks have been nasty. And I think in any other season, if you watched what Leopold was doing with Kansas and how he had this team winning when it mattered, you would 1,000% be on Kansas.
The Buffs are a team of destiny, buddy. I'm with you, but the Buffs are a team of destiny. The amount of shit talk that has occurred against these Buffs over the past year or two, I think that hell's coming with them. All right, they're going to find a way to get it done, and my Buffs survive, and the haters are going to hate it even more. and it's going to be fantastic. But I mean, yeah, Leipold is an amazing coach, and Kansas is way better than their record. What about the other one? BYU, Arizona State. I have loaded up on these Sun Devils. I can't see BYU going into the desert and getting the best of Arizona State. Am I fascinated with this game? I am. So what are you doing here? I feel pretty good about Arizona State -3.
Yeah, lay it with Arizona State. I think that BYU really kind of I knew it was something about this fucking BYU team, and it just so happened that they won 9 straight games before it was able to be exploited. But if they're not turning the ball over on defense and they're not getting the ball in favorable situations, they're not getting really, really good special teams play. God damn, the offense is just regular. The offense is fucking regular. All those extra points, all the easy touchdowns, all that shit came from BYU's defense, putting them in good situations, and the special teams coming up big. If that shit's not happening, they're a regular offense. I like Arizona State. I think Scottibo's gonna be able to run the ball. They're gonna control clock, and Sam Levitt is gonna be able to make enough passes. Just don't turn the ball over.
That game's awesome. I can't wait for it. Cody says, "Am I a Dion fan?" I mean,
no, he was a Buffs fan before Dion.
True, but Dion,
he is a Colorado fan.
Dion's
there are some Dion
back.
fans. I would say I am a Dion fan because I am a fan of Dion. Kobe is a Colorado Buffaloes fan, which is
true,
crazy.
But here's the thing: I hated Dion when he was on the Cowboys. That's because he was on the Cowboys. I didn't have any animosity for him on the Falcons or the Niners or the Ravens or the Redskins. But I was a fan of him. I was a fan of him taking the Jackson State job. I thought that was really cool, and they did cost me some money in the Celebration Bowl though. But how could I not
always take the MEAC?
How could I not be with what Dion's done with Colorado? I love the hire. I couldn't believe that Arkansas and TCU passed on hiring him. So yeah, I'm very excited to see. I'm a huge fan now. Cowboy years were tough because I fucking hated those Cowboy teams. But yeah. I got a live dog for you. Missouri's at Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri has never been good at any point this season, and somehow they're ranked. Mississippi State will beat them outright. What do you think about that play?
Missouri, yeah. You said, let me go back. All right, and get my notes pulled up on that one.
Cody says Dion bails after this year. No, I do not think so. I think he just landed Juju Lewis.
Wow, you think that Florida State doesn't go like throw Dion everything they can? Well, I mean, he did just land that really good recruit, but like, you don't think in the next year or two that Florida State doesn't throw Dion everything they can?
They just signed Norvell to like a $90 million extension last year. I don't know that they can get out of that, and I also believe Dion has animosity towards Florida State. They didn't even give him an interview, and he took that personal. And I know I would probably take it personal too. It's like when Del Curry called Virginia Tech and said, "Hey, my son, he's very good. You should take a look at him." And Virginia Tech's like, "Yeah, sure, buddy. You're only the all-time leading scorer in Virginia Tech history, but you know what? You don't know anything about the sport."
By the way, Mizzou got that cover for me last week against South Carolina. That's true. Brady Cook back in the lineup. Second game, probably looks a little bit better, more fluid, and they beat the shit out of Mississippi State when they play each other. Like, it's not even close. They typically beat the shit out of them, and that's probably because Mississippi State's a horrible team. But yeah, they handle business.
All right, we differ there. What about the likes? A&M has Texas on deck. The biggest game. They haven't played that game forever. It's the biggest game of the season, in my opinion. I would have said that in July. I still think it's the biggest game of the season now. I think Auburn is going to upset Texas A&M today. Hugh Strip Club freeze on the Plains. This is going to be the one that solidifies Hugh Freeze can be back next year. What are you doing here?
Auburn sucks, man. Auburn sucks.
They do suck, but they will win this game.
Nah, man. I can't get past it. Auburn is really bad, yo. They really struggle. Like if it's not ULM, they can't move the fucking football. How do we take a team that can't move the football and they're not playing a team named ULM, who is actually an SEC team, by the way? ULM New Mexico State, both
and
had
UMass
SEC
and UMass
games, and UMass as well. All had but the other two had SEC games last week in their schedule. So no, I'm taking Texas A&M. I'm taking Texas A&M. I can't. I'm really just out on Auburn, and I don't think that's a good football team.
You're out on Auburn like I'm out on Rocco Beck because Utah beats Iowa State today in Salt Lake City. Right it, all right? Right it, buddy.
They haven't even been good at home this year.
What's our parlay? Let's get the hell out of here. I want to watch this Indiana game.
Well, it's not Utah.
Oh, wow. It's just coming right in.
UCLA. Let's end it with UCLA. Oh, yeah. Whatever it is, let's end it with a sweat on UCLA.
I like the UCLA angle. Then let's take. I feel like we didn't agree on a lot of dogs on this episode.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
UCLA, Minnesota.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, is that an early game? That's not an early game, is it?
No, that's a 3:00 game.
Okay, cool.
So UCLA, Minnesota, Boston College, which
that started already.
Yeah. Damn it.
We didn't talk about it, but are you willing to dip? Oh wait, no, let's throw Dub V in there.
Yes.
Dub V. And are you willing to dip the toe in the waters of Northwestern and Michigan?
I am. Let's go. Look, you don't catch the historical programs down that often. And I think Northwestern has this one circled and saying, "Hey, we can do this. Give me the points in Northwestern, 10.5."
Kobe, this is crazy enough to hit.
Northwestern, West Virginia, UCLA. What was the other one? What's the one I'm forgetting? Minnesota. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Minnesota. Yeah.
All right, folks. Give Terrell Furman a follow on Twitter at @reallyRel__. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The college football experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And get on over there and hit that Kobe, like and subscribe.
What the fuck? This pays crazy.
Oh wait, let's add Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia to that.
Oh, this is sick. 5 teams in the money line round robin.
Yes,
Kobe.
Yes.
How
did I forget that? How did I forget that?
Oh, I just want you to know, if all 5 teams win, we're not going to be up here next week. We're not going to be up here tonight
reacting. Hey, I'll drive over to you. We meet in the middle, and
we just get on a flight and just go into an austere location. Just go.
Folks, hit that like and subscribe button. YouTube.com/The College Experience on the race to 15,000 followers. Get on over there. Till next time, folks. This is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know